If you've ever had to deal with a potential break-in and almost got your CONUS kill, no, I'm not kidding. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, guys. Welcome back to the Trench Grenade channel. I am your host, the average home defense scare video debrief enjoyer that your mom says to have at home. Thanks for watching. Guys, about an hour and 15 minutes ago or so, I was doing my morning routine. Getting my coffee, okay, literally just going through my morning as always. And throughout that, I was letting the dogs out. Right when my dogs got back inside, I heard the neighbor's dogs begin going crazy, okay? Like, you know how normally your dogs bark, whatever, when like delivery or the neighbors walk by, whatever, right? Well, I heard the neighbor's dogs barking like, basically the dog version of screaming bloody murder, right? And then my dogs started going absolutely crazy. Bear with me, I'm doing a U-turn. My dogs start going absolutely crazy, okay? Um, so I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Obviously, okay? The neighbor's dogs are going crazy. My dogs are going crazy. What's going on? Okay, well, of course, the one time that I don't have my, without disclosing too much, the pre-staged Glock 26 in place due to a very high degree of training and me being, I'm working like 17-hour days right now, 16 to 17-hour days every day, not including filming for the channel. So outside of that, I did not have the Glock 26 staged in a, I guess, secret area near the back door. That would have been what I would have grabbed, but I knew it wasn't there because of having it locked in the safe due to me not being home frequent enough to justify that. So Nighthawk, thankfully, she came out of the room immediately. Obviously she was woken up. And around this time, I realized somebody was in the neighbor's backyard. Okay. And Nighthawk came out, and I said, "Go grab my gun." She said, "What?" I said, "Go grab my gun." She turned around. She ran back to the bedroom. She secured my, and this is a part that I want to debrief because I think this is important. She secured the rifle, my M16. I'm going to call it an M16H2, A2, H&R, I guess, Gordon carbine, which is what I had on duty, home defense duty yesterday. So she goes, she secures this by the carry handle, brings it back in. I charge around because I keep it in amber condition. I yell out the back door, "Hey, are you okay?" Using drill sergeant voice, right? I'm not going to yell it in your ear right now, but kind of to show, to kind of check on the neighbor to see if if it was the neighbor for some crazy reason jumping their own fence, for some turn of events, right, to try to give positive identification of what was going on next door, and to let whoever was in their backyard know, the dogs are barking. I saw the kitchen light next door get turned on, and my dogs are barking, and, unfortunately, I guess for the memes, I did technically have to rack one in the chamber, but that's just because I keep my, yeah, the guy wouldn't have heard that, right? It was inside in cover, but I racked around in the chamber, and I then opened the door and I yelled outside into, through my backyard into their backyard. What I say? I said, "Hey, y'all all right?" But or something like that, and that's why I want to debrief this so soon, before I forget. Um, and then I closed the door, and then I immediately started calling the neighbor, to try to touch base with them first. And then at that point, whoever was in their yard made it so they were not. And they either jumped the fence or apparently there's some sort of crack in their fence, right? They either jumped the fence, they disappeared. For lack of a better term, whether it was the yelling into their yard, whether it was the dogs, whether it was the lights getting turned on, whether they did hear me charge my carbine, something caused these dudes to do a rear march, if you know, to conduct a rear march and move back towards the direction that they came. So, why am I talking about all this? Well, I want to just debrief it, even though it's kind of a minor incident. There's been an uptick in crime in the United States over the past, I would say, over the past month or so, with the summer months starting. There's been an uptick in crime. There's been a bunch of Uber and DoorDash crime. So if you're using Uber, or DoorDash, you need to be extra vigilant because there's people using those apps to do break-ins, to literally murder happened yesterday. So you need to be careful using Uber, DoorDash, whatever, right? But I'm talking about this because there's some things that went wrong. First and foremost, what went wrong first? I didn't turn on, so I have without disclosing too much, I have a ton of cameras around the house. So first and foremost, the cameras did not detect anything, obviously, because it wasn't in the sector of fire that it would have been in. Part two, I didn't turn on the exterior lights as it's super early in the day. I'm starting training in 20 minutes for my candidates, right? So it's super early in the day still right now. But I did not turn on the additional exterior lights. I have a ton of lighting in my all the way around my house, like additional to the additional lighting that's all motion detected, but I didn't turn on the massive light, right? The like 1,000 lumen massive lights that I have out there when I let the dogs out. So that could have initially scared him away before he even got into their backyard. So that's another failure point, thing to think about. Another big failure point that I didn't do. My dogs have a certain collar system that also is like a strobe, right? And had the individual been in my backyard, I would not have been able to identify them based on the dogs because I forgot to activate my own dog's collar system. That's like a strobe system to show so I can see where they're at night. Did not do that either. Again, just a number of things that I would normally do. In this one particular day, I did not do them. So this is just a lot to consider for your own scenario. The next thing I didn't do is I did not bring my weapon with me to let the dogs out. Now, I'm literally at work right now, and I was on the about to be transitioning into work mode, and I think I was just so focused, like most mornings, on getting my coffee ready, and getting my day ready, getting everything ready to get going for another long day of work. And I think I was just so focused on that I just got tunnel vision and didn't do the little things, right? Didn't turn on the additional exterior lighting, didn't turn on the dog's collars, didn't secure a weapon. And the weapon that I had on duty, so I had my Glock 19, my carry gun, that's always on my bedside, and then I had that gun is always chambered up, and so is Nighthawk's. Hers is always chambered up as well. So both of our Glock 19s, and then the rifle though that was on duty did not have a weapon mounted light, nor did it have an optic, which I'm not so much concerned about the optic because it has a fixed A2 carry handle, which is based, but it did not have a weapon on light. So had that individual been in my backyard when I opened the door, and assuming I had my weapon, I wouldn't have able to activate my Surefire like normal and just make sure I put 1,000 lumens of not staying here any longer in his face before I did to the chest, one to the head. Okay, so I guess a lot of things to consider for your own scenario. Okay, for your spouse, if you're a spouse or whoever the responder, if you ever find yourself responding and you hear commotion, right? You hear the neighbor's dogs going crazy, you hear your dogs going crazy, and you know your fiance is not with you. Okay, that's where in challenge and password, having a code word, a challenge and a password, McDonald's, Sprite, right? So, hey, you got any McDonald's? No, but I have Sprite. Having a challenge and password between you and your partner is huge. Also, if you're responding to an incident, bring a gun. Okay, I already got on to Nighthawk about it. She was like, "Oh, I thought the Glock 26 was out there in the pre-staged hidden position." It's not, because of the work schedule that I have this week. I did not want that gun to be out of the safe, right? So, if you're gonna respond to an incident, bring a gun. It sounds like sitting down, relaxed, wherever you're listening to this right now. It sounds normal, right? But it's not what happened. She came out without a gun. I said, "Go grab my gun," and she came back with my rifle, a rifle that was not equipped with a weapon-mounted light because it is like my budget M16A2 H&R Gordon clone carbine that I use for durations of time when I want a less expensive rifle out that I don't have to necessarily worry about locking in the safe every morning, but it doesn't have a weapon-mounted light. I've obviously upgraded it with a better bolt carrier group from BCM, but it doesn't have a weapon-mounted light. So that capability I did not have this morning. Thankfully, that individual jumped or disappeared around the time that they were turning on lights, I was turning on lights, I was grabbing a rifle, or Nighthawk brought me my rifle, etc. Okay? So, all this to say, use this story and use this situation, this very minor situation, and make sure you're doing all the little things right. Make sure you're activating the dog's collars. Make sure you're activating exterior lights. Make sure you have cameras. Make sure you have additional lighting. Make sure you have a code word with your partner, a challenge and password. Make sure you have an emergency running password. Make sure you always have a weapon on you at all times. Okay? All right. Let me know what you guys think about this incident. Again, it's a minor thing, but it's something to report, right? It's something that I'm glad I'm hot washing it now. The neighbors dealt with the cops, or they're going to deal with all that part. Whether they call, don't call, that's on them. I'm just here to defend my family and my property and those around me. And that's why I did the call out the way I did, to let anyone know over there, like if it was going to go hot, that the first responder was about to be wearing, I guess, cringe U.S. Army or, you know, the Academy's PT shirt, following that dude behind, which is a dangerous scenario because you don't want the neighbor to shoot you, right? Who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. So you just got to be careful, right? But yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are on all this, and I'll see you guys in the comments. Leave your llamas down below, join the Patreon, do all this stuff. And until next time, it's gonna be Trench Grenade, random Thursday morning. I guess it can happen any time. Random Thursday morning video, like home defense video enjoyer that your mom says we have at home, signing out. Cheers.